Welcome to Abnormal Investigations. Look, we're a minute early, guys. You don't see that very often, do you? Let me turn this sound down over here. I got some things set up. Um, my co-host tonight, filling in for Brooks, will be Jesse. Jesse, would you like to stay backstage while I address some certain things, or would you like to come up here? It's up to you. Thumbs up if you want to stay where you're at, or um, I want to address a few things before we get tonight started. I guess I'll go ahead and bring Jessie out. She may have something she wants to say. Um,
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Jesse. Jesse will be sitting in for Brooks tonight, guys. So you get me and Jesse tonight. It's going to be a crazy, crazy night.
Yay.
But before we can kick this night off, I just have something that I got to get off my chest. Uh, there's this guy. He's got multi-personality disorder. He doesn't know really who he's talking to or what he's chasing. Or I'm not sure. Him and his friends are used to running people off. And you're not going to run me off. I'm not going to run. You might have ran a few channels away. Um, y'all might have bullied a bunch of channels. And you might have made people run and leave and not want to deal with you. But I'm not a runner. I don't run. But what I will tell you, you have a very sick and disgusting mind. Your fantasies that involve me, for one, and the way you talk about me is just filthy. It's like you have this obsession with me, and it's almost to the point to where it's scary. Um, I've never heard so much filth in my life come out of somebody that's on a love foundation. Um, it's to the point where it's just sickening. Um, when you talk about dead relatives of somebody, and whenever you start pushing that envelope, it just shows your character. Um, you were griping because I'm getting donations. That was one of your gripes. I haven't listened to the whole video, but it makes you pretty mad, I guess, but I can do a 10-minute show and get more views than you'll get all week. It's because nobody wants to go on and listen to that disgusting and your boyfriend you have on with you every night. I don't know what that's even about. I don't want to know. But, you know, ain't nobody over here been talking about you, and y'all just can't seem to stop. I don't know if it's an obsession or a possession. I'm not sure. Um, but anyways, I think it's disgusting, and I'm not going to run. You might make other people run. You might scare other people, but I ain't going to run. I promise you. I'll be here every Tuesday and Thursday, Wednesday,
Amen.
Saturday, whatever else. uh, First of all, I want to start off. Thank you, Randy, for that donation. God bless you. And thank you, Tim Rustler, for that donation. God bless you. Um, I want to start off by saying this at first before we kick all this off, guys. I done a little something special tonight for everybody, for people in the chat and for the moderators. As y'all know, last month, well, it's still October. October and November are Hunter month. And to show the appreciation, the moderators that are here are a big part of helping do the show and what we're doing for Hunter. We decided these 2 months we're going to push for Hunter. And I want to thank the moderators for being here, for pushing for Hunter. I want to thank you all for everything you do on the show, behind the scenes. I want to thank our all of our supporters in the chat. Just watching our videos, hitting the like, showing up tonight, and just being here is awesome. We love you guys. We love having you here. But I done a little something for the people that have donated, that have done super chats, and I will update this as it goes. and I'd like to show y'all what I've done. Let's see if I can get it to work right, and then we will start the show. It's going to be a great show, trust me. We got some things lined out. Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. There we go.
You want to play it again? Can't hear you. There you go.
All right. So I wanted to do that for everybody. We want to ask everybody to remember for prayers for Patricia Harrington, uh, prayers for all the hurricane victims, families, everything that they've all went through. We want to hold them in our prayers tonight. Looks like we got Scott B in here tonight. We got Randy in here tonight, moderating Lori C. Seeing a lot of people in here tonight. It's going to do a little roll call, but it looks like our chat has stopped rolling on my side. Who Do You Love is in here.
That's Loana,
So we
by
got
the way.
Luana.
That's Loana.
So we got a few people coming in here trying to cause some trouble. We are going to do a call in tonight. We're going to do an open mic tonight. I think that's going to be fun. Hopefully somebody's got some stories for us.
Anybody want to share tonight?
Does anybody want to come on live and share a story? There we go. If anybody has an encounter they want to share tonight, just let us know, and we'll be sharing the link in the chat. We now have a merchandise store. I do not have the link, but I do have merchandise now. I'll have to put it in the bio, I guess. I've been told to do that several times. Haven't got that done yet, but we do have a merchandise store. There's a few things. There's a coffee cup, a shirt, stuff. I'm not real crazy about the stuff that I've designed. Not a real good designer. We'll work on that as we go. There will be new products coming. So how many of you, thought we had a trader in here, but it was just Jenny. How many of y'all are ready for the Halloween special?
I'm ready.
There's a lot of people ready for that.
Oh, thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. There's a lot of people ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a crazy night. I'm going to be solo, so it should up the ante, I guess, as they say. Yeah, Randy says join us Halloween night. It should be a really, really good Halloween night. I'm going to be going to a place that's going to take me where I'm going to walk through a whole lot of the hot spots that we have investigated. Thank you, Scott. God bless you. And a lot of the spots that we've been investigating, I'm going to have to walk through those. Yep, Dana, I will be solo. I wasn't planning on being solo, but as the world turns, it looks like I'm going to be solo. This is a place that a lot of the elder people, they don't go at nighttime either. It's just a very, 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 very remote area. It's has ancient artifacts there. There's a lot of history there, a lot of backstories there, a lot of cemeteries that were underwater there. May still be some of them there underwater. They don't know that they got them all. So we're going to be walking across all of that. It's going to be a pretty good walk, depending on the water. If we don't get no rain, it's not going to be as far of a walk for me. But if we get rain, more than likely, whenever I go live that night, I will probably already be walking to the location because it is such a far walk. I'm going to try to get a little ahead because it's a dangerous walk. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm going to be a long ways from anybody. Now, what I have done, we had a vehicle. I don't know how many of y'all was watching on the last Boots on the Ground that decided to drive down to where I was at illegally down the creek. And we did get very good photos of that. They've been turned over to the proper people, but we will continue to do that. What we've decided to do is where I'm going to have a security team. Of course, I'll have a security team that night. Also, they are placing trail cameras at different places, which really got us some really good photos. I showed Jesse from the last Boots on the Ground.
Yeah, those were good shots.
Yeah, they know who they are. We'll put it like that. They have no idea. They know who you are. And we will continue to do that as long as we have to. But we're going to try to go in on a really far one-way in, one-way out road. That way, if something happens, it'll give the security team time enough to come up. And one person that may be helping us out that night, and he said he's probably more than likely going to be able to, is an off-duty deputy. So that's going to turn out really, really good. He offered his time because he knows what we're going through, and that'll be very helpful. So, Shelly Belly, I hope I answered your questions. I think that's what you were kind of hitting around about. Like I said, it's a pretty good walk. I'm going to start walking at 11:40. Now, don't forget that night will be whenever we auction off the big duck at midnight. The person in the lead right now is Sharon Guy, and she's ahead with $50 for the big duck with the sword and everything. So we'll have it. I'll have him with me that night. I might take him along with me for the boots on the ground for Halloween too. What I do want to do though is before everybody, some people have to run and stuff. Is there anybody right now that would like to come on to share an encounter? I want to go ahead and do that so you don't have to wait for us to go through everything. So if you do have an encounter you would like to come on and share, uh, give
Thank
us
you, Margie.
a number one. Thank you, Margie, for that. God bless you. Just give us a number one in the chat, and if you have a story that you would like to share right now, I'll send you the link in chat, and you can come on before we jump into this other stuff. We might have to get them warmed up. There's the wolf lady again. Should be out there howling at the moon tonight. Um, when I got hit in the face, that's kind of been the topic of discussion lately.
Mm-hmm.
Some people said, and I did not get to upload it today because I was having trouble with the internet, but I think I posted it on the Facebook page. It is posted there, the clip of it. Some people said that they thought they saw a hand with fur on it and possibly fingernails. So I'm hoping it was a stick that hit me because I would really hate to think that something just slapped me like that. Kind of make me mad. Uh, what do you think? What's your thoughts?
I don't know how many people actually in the chat had a chance to see it. I know that when I looked at it and slowed it down, I don't know, I was kind of undecisive. It was very blurry, but I mean, I could see where it looked like a hand, but
Not, you're not for sure.
no, it's true. I mean, the fact that it did get that close to you to be able to hit you with whatever it was, that's a little unsettling.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If it got close enough to actually hit me, that was that kind of bothered me, not knowing exactly what was going on. And I mean, it hit me hard enough it knocked the phone out of my hand and knocked the headlamp off my head.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a pretty good wallop. Uh, a fun thing y'all might like to know is the moon on the night that we will be going out will be a waning crescent. Not going to be a lot of light. So that means I'm going to have to use a lot of battery power there and back to be able to light the way because there will not be any moonlight that night. But there'll be enough light for a predator to hunt. So hopefully I'm not the prey. That's the plan. Uh, Jessie was talking about something today, and I'll let her explain a little bit more. But she said she noticed maybe possibly a pattern after the storm and the progression of the encounters.
Yeah, and I was trying to find the video and I was highly distracted today. But I was trying to find the original video when you had gone down right before the night of the storm and noticed that through the progression, and I wanted to compare it to, and I didn't have a chance. I wanted to compare it to where the moon phases were based on your theories, just to kind of set up a comparison. But there was an increase from that night through the next 3-4 weeks where it gradually got worse and worse when you went out, um, particularly when you were out there by yourself. And I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but it was something that I started to kind of pick up on and was trying to kind of get the stats on that.
Yeah, I felt like toward the end, when I was going solo, I wasn't only just getting more encounters, I was getting physical encounters. Of course, I got hit. Uh, we heard stuff running through the woods closer, limbs breaking. It's like they weren't trying to be as quiet, they were more pronounced.
I kind of attribute it to more of the point where they were no longer curious about you being down there. And at that point, they were um, at that testing you by that point, seeing how far they could push you to get you out or try and scare you.
You think possibly overstayed my welcome? Maybe.
Definitely on certain occasions.
Probably hitting that area a little too much.
Yeah.
Randy says, "What does growling mean?" He says, "Just joking, but you know, we have had some pretty loud growls. That's been pretty crazy sounding. Uh, I've noticed also they're they seem to be more aggressive, but it's hard to tell because we don't have a consistency on two people going and two people not to be able to tell if it's actual if they're getting more aggressive because of the time of year, or is it because you're single one time, you're solo, you're single, you're solo, you're single. It's hard to get a read on that.
Hmm. Well, and from many of the different encounters that I've heard over the years, it seems like spring and fall is usually the hot season for these cryptid encounters. So could that be? Yeah, again, it's hard to tell because there's no consistency with when you're going out by yourself or with somebody.
Yeah, you'd have to set it all up and use a calendar and graphs and everything and try to see what your encounters are when you're solo and double. Now, I've always heard that if you're in the woods and you have a female with you, you have a lot higher chance of getting an encounter. And that's what I've always heard as a kid, by the elders that if you want an encounter, you take a female with you.
Well, and I would have thought that too, but it's kind of like when I went to Michigan with and met Blake at the site. We went out boots on the ground. He thought for sure having me and my friend out there with him would get some type of response. And nothing happened really that night. It happened the following night.
Right.
So you never know.
And on what Nancy said, saying, it looked like a human. A lot of them, believe it or not, are going to look more human than you think. There's been a lot of stories of people saying that they had them in their sights, but they just could not pull the trigger because they were so human looking. And by saying they're so human looking, not necessarily meaning they look as much human as us, but they have a lot of our characteristics or something that we're definitely not used to seeing in the woods and shooting in the woods or hunting in the woods. It's completely out of the ordinary. It's not something that we would shoot at normally or typically.
Right.
Uh, Who do you love says she thinks they hunt more in the fall. I could see that. Probably storing up fat for the winter months. I know I'd be trying to. It'd be awful cold down there. No, Dana, I do. I personally do not believe they're monkeys. I believe they are Nephilim. Uh, their intelligence is too much. Um, you know, our teacher said it good one time when I was in school. He said, "If we came from monkeys, then we shouldn't have monkeys still. They should have all evolved." So,
True.
um, I think maybe hitting the same spot as much as I was, I might have been pushing them a little bit. Maybe like I was really hitting that one area really hard because I was getting interaction. I think that no, that's not Dana Ortega. You better get her name right, Jenny. You will know if you get a rogue one. You're going to know.
Mm-hmm.
Ellen Smith. She's asked a few times, why is Sarah not with me anymore? Sarah's busy doing her own thing. Um, I'm the weirdo that likes to play in the woods. Um, I think I probably enjoy it more than they do. Um, I don't know. I just enjoy the tranquility of it out there and doing it for Hunter. That gives me ambition and it pushes me because I am out there trying to get uh, evidence for you guys, and I know that the more evidence we get, the better that we're going to do. So Hunter is a big driving force for me. It's very clear to my moderators and everybody on the channel that Hunter is a very important thing to me, and I strive to use him as he's my strength. He always has been. No, Ellen, she just decided to do her own thing. Oop, I hit the wrong one. I hate this thing when it does this. Hold on, Ellen, I'll find you. There you are. But yeah, she's just they're really not into it. I'll admit, I mean, there's times I don't want to go, and I know Jesse knows there's times I talk to her. Actually, Jesse knows right now I have not been asleep. I've been working on this channel since yesterday. I haven't been asleep. Um, that's what I do. Uh, you know, like I said, I do it for Hunter, do it for you guys, and I've been awake since yesterday working on this live and video drops, and we've been looking at things and getting ideas and stuff like that. So it takes a lot of time. It is very time consuming, but the channel pretty much lives you. You don't tell the channel what to do. I am a little nervous though about that walk. I'm not going to lie. That's going to be a scary walk. I didn't plan on doing it alone, or I wouldn't have made it that place. I did figure it being more than one person, so I kind of bit off maybe more than I can chew on this one. I don't know. We'll find out. Still going to do it, uh, but we'll see what happens. It should be very, 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 very interesting. It's going to be very scary, no doubt. Um, it's crazy. Does anybody have a story they would like to share? I'm going to throw the link in there if it'll work. We didn't get to do a real good boots on the ground, so we really don't have a whole lot of stuff to break down tonight.
Luana
We're
has
kind
a
of
question.
Luana does.
Yeah, she said, have you seen any kind of similarities as far as determining nesting areas? Maybe you got too close to one of those areas.
We did find a couple of places down there. I remember showing you all that did look like it could be a nesting place. We had the one place that had the mud that was built into the limbs. Remember, had the hole under it. Looked like they might have been building something underground. And then there was the large tree that had fell that a lot of the brush was pulled in. So I guess yeah, that could definitely be a nesting area. Uh, can you imagine driving down that road at night? You have a flat tire and you have no flashlight,
Well, it
and
makes you wonder about some of those people that have gone missing in areas that, yeah, they might have had a flat tire, run out of gas, and
you're walking down the road and all you have is your light on your phone.
Mhm.
Imagine how close they will get to you. I mean, they're probably going to come right up to you, and then Freddy Krueger come right out and get you. Um, I got a lady that sent in a encounter and I thought I would read it to everybody since it's so short. It's probably not good enough to make a video, but I thought it would be good enough for discussion. Maybe she's watching and she can get something out of this. Let me see here if I can pull it up. I thought it was kind of weird. I can see why she was scared, though. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, here it is. She said, got it on my phone. Dear Mike, I'm writing you in desperation. I don't know what to do anymore. My cat, Missy, she has changed. She's always been a sweet and playful companion. But she's been going over to our neighbor's house, which is a couple of older people that are Indians, and they make a lot of ceremonial noises at night and have their fires and stuff. Ever since my cat has came back, she's become increasingly erratic. At first, I thought it was just her usual moodiness, but then I started noticing strange things about her. She would stare at the walls for hours with her eyes fixed on something invisible. She'd growl and hiss at nothing, and then sometimes jump up on her hind legs and run across the floor. The nightmares started. Last night I woke up to Missy's blood-curdling screams. She was thrashing about, her eyes going crazy in her head, almost spinning. I tried to calm her down, but she would not let me near her. It was as if something was inside her fighting to get out. I've tried everything, changing her food, her environment, even consulting with veterinarians, but nothing seems to work. I'm convinced that she's possessed. I got the Bible out the other night, and I opened it, and I started speaking from the Bible to her. She became so upset that she took off running, knocked over the fan, tore the curtains down, and busted through the screen on the window. We have not seen her since, but we are still praying that she comes back home. What can I do when she returns? I'd probably be hoping she didn't return. I mean, I hate to say that, but I mean, I don't know if she's possessed or if she's went over there maybe and they've done something to her.
Well,
Maybe in one of their ceremonies.
I personally would want to first rule out any type of medical conditions, scientifically, medically wise, and then look at things from the spiritual side afterwards. Because maybe there's something wrong. Maybe she did, or her cat got into something, or they gave her some type of drug. Um, there are other explanations for stuff. I wouldn't necessarily jump into conclusions, but that is definitely strange.
I had a dog one time, and pretty sure it was possessed. Um, I got up one night and was walking down the hallway, and this dog was in the front room walking on its hind legs, just walking around. So it continued to do this for a few nights, and we had some Hispanics that lived beside us, and they always wanted that dog. So one day I was like, "Do y'all still want that dog?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, 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 we'll take it, we'll take it, we'll take it." So I gave them the dog, and the next like couple of days or so, they came over and they're like, "Hey man, that dog that you gave us, that thing was possessed, man. We had to take it to the lake and get rid of it." And I was like, "Yep, it was a good dog for me. I never noticed." But that dog was freaky, man. That dog was very, very scary. I did not like that dog. Yeah, Mindy said they could have put a spell on the cat.
Hmm.
Or I mean, they could have even stuck like something in it, some kind of mixture they made, make it go crazy.
Yeah. That's why I would just firstly try to rule out the most obvious thing of some type of a medical condition and then go from there. But
Until it starts speaking your name.
well, hopefully not.
Starts going to the ice box and grabbing stuff out of the ice box.
Hey, I've seen plenty of videos where cats and dogs do that anyways.
I've been seeing lights in the sky. A lot of people's been talking about that here in Oklahoma. I've definitely been seeing those. Seeing a lot of lights in the sky. Um, Again, what are they? I'm going to try to film some of them to show everybody. I think they will be pretty exciting. There's Logan. Don't look like we have anybody wanting to share anything tonight. Do we not have anybody wanting to share any encounters tonight? We was hoping we would have somebody share an encounter. Our boots on the ground last week really got disrupted, which didn't give us a lot to do for the sit down. So we was relying on you guys to come in and tell us a spooky story. There's the link if anybody would like to jump on. You've had some stuff happen in your house you live in now, right?
Yeah. When I first moved into this house, the uh people that were selling the house was actually the children of the couple. The husband had passed away. Um I think he had a heart attack, but he ended up dying in the hospital. And the wife ended up going into like hospice. And um so the house actually sat abandoned for almost a year and a half. Like they took care of the regular stuff, but there was nobody living here. And so before I actually moved into the house, because I was in an apartment at the same time, I came over to the house and was repainting and kind of touching things up. And at one point, I was in the basement because they had the fake brick all over the basement walls. So I figured, and it was really dark down there. So I figured I'd lighten it up. And I kind of was painting with like a off-white cream color. And this was the first time I had actually been in the house by myself after I had purchased it. And I'm painting the walls, and I hear what I thought at the time was my boyfriend coming down the stairs, because I could hear the footsteps coming down the stairs, and then like stopped in the archway and kind of made this like sigh. And I assumed that he didn't like the color of my paint or something. And I said, "What? You don't like it? Does it not look good?" And as I turned around, there was absolutely nobody there. There was nobody there at all. And at that point I said, because my daughter was 5, 6 or 7 at the time, and I said, "All right, that's plenty enough sign for me." I said, "I don't care what you do, but mess with me, but don't mess with my kid, or we're gonna have some issues." And it didn't take maybe a couple months before, yeah, things were. I would hear footsteps, heavy footsteps, coming across the living room through the kitchen. I would hear it would sound like the doors opening and closing. Lights would actually turn on and off by themselves. Um, and at one point, she had gotten up and was telling me that who she thought was my boyfriend at the time would stand in the doorway, staring at her while she was sleeping at night, and would wake her up. And she would have this feeling like somebody was spying at like through the bedroom windows at her. And um, now to this day, she insists that it wasn't real. And I think part of it is the fact that she was so scared and doesn't like to admit it. But it stopped. I found out few years ago now, that his wife had also passed away, and that was when everything kind of stopped. So my assumption is that he was just waiting for her to pass so that they could be together and go across together. But haven't had anything, and it was never malicious or bad. It was just a little unsettling.
You know, it's scary too when you talk to people that work in like nursing homes that are hospice and stuff like that. They talk about how some people will go so peacefully and some people will just fight and fight and fight. and
Mhm.
how their eyes and their mouth will look whenever they do finally pass away. I've seen both myself. Um, it makes you wonder, what are the happy ones going to, and what are the ones fighting afraid of? You know, what are they seeing?
Yeah, I don't know, because I wasn't raised Catholic, so I'm not quite sure, and I'd have to probably look more into it, but I did find it interesting. I was watching a video clip from a mortician who was talking about, and I don't know if there's anybody in the chat that would be able to explain it, but I guess the Catholic Church sells these, or you could purchase these like um,
Ah, yeah,
penance crosses or something. You know what I'm talking
little,
about?
them little trinkets.
Yeah, that's supposed to like guarantee you passage to heaven or
Yeah,
something.
they give you the love foundation.
Okay. So apparently, from what he was saying is that it's kind of like what you were saying is that these people that are holding on to these pennants are have this look of terror on their faces, like they are scared to pass. And he said that m- more times than not, he's had to like pry those things out of their hands. And it kind of makes you, I mean, I took that as, did they think that they could just get away, and think that it was a pass for their
That's what
souls
you.
to heaven?
That's what I was thinking when you said that. Is they probably got that, and then they decided it. They didn't have to be saved. You know, hey, I have this trinket that it's like, it's the key that's going to get me to heaven. And
Hmm.
then it's kind of like, it reminds me of a couple of things out of the Bible where the devil offered Jesus everything, and Jesus told him, well, you can't give it to me because it's not yours to give.
Right.
And another thing it kind of reminds me too also is worshiping false idols. And you know when you put your faith, and I think a lot of people, God, here we go, I think a lot of people get confused whenever he talks about worshiping false idols. Worshiping a false idol is not necessarily having a golden calf or a Buddha or something. Worshiping an idol is whenever something in your life controls you to where it starts causing you to not do things you should be doing. For instance, say you're hooked on a game, and this game keeps you from cleaning your house or taking a bath, or you know that becomes an idol whenever something is allowed to control you. I mean, it's fine, to play games, but whenever it starts to consume you, to control you, to where that's all you think about. I mean, look at Fortnite right now. Look at TikTok on Fortnite right now. Have you seen that?
No, I
The
haven't.
new the new thing on that now is you can sell your soul to Satan.
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
mean, they're indoctrinating this to the kids. That's you know, and a preacher was talking about it the other day, and he said, "Look at how many kids will play these games and say, well, it's okay to play the game. You just don't go to the devil." And that's not how it works. but they'll do that because they want to play that game.
mhm. Well, it makes me wonder too about the people that become so overly obsessed with, I mean, TikTok or other channels where they are going from, I mean, there's so much content out there that people become obsessed with constantly watching it, and just like playing a video game, they don't they forget about life and forget about everything else. And that's part of the issue, is that that's what they want. They want us to completely forget about everything else that's going on and keep us mindless.
Well, what they're doing is they're disassociating you. They're
Mhm.
taking away these kids' social skills. I mean, they don't know how to interact with each other in person. They're, like, ooh, is that another human? You know, because they have these alternate realities to where these games become their life. It's. But then there is a guy that I was listening to that said these games may actually offer these kids a place into another alternate reality. And if that's really happening, then he started. And you're probably going to know more about this than I do. But he started talking about, this is a rumor, but the PS5s that are coming out supposedly have dark matter in them.
Hmm. I don't know anything about that. Um, but part of me always looks at things that happened in the past because, again, history always repeats itself. And things that are going on today, maybe the technology, yes, is better than it was previously, but even if you look at books in the past, um, they a big thing would be that women shouldn't read because it puts these things into their heads, and so keep women uneducated and don't let them read books and learn stuff because then they'll start getting these ideas. And all of these fiction books, I mean, look at in the past how many books were and are still being taken off the shelves because people say that they're giving the wrong impression, or they're occultish or satanic, or um, even like the Harry Potter. Or I was having a conversation with, and I'm probably going to digress a little bit here, so I'm sorry, but I was having a conversation with my family this weekend, even about Lord of the Rings. And I said, there's many people out there that say Lord of the Rings is a satanic type story, but the author wrote that solely based on Christianity and used his characters based on the Bible and experiences in life, and completely centered around Christianity. But the point I was getting at is, if you were to take books in the past and how they were, people in general had used them as an excuse, I should say, for occultish reasons, and you were to turn around and take video games and look at it the same way, um, I think it's basically giving the population the excuse to use that as a reasoning for not doing things correctly and not following the way of God and not making proper choices in their life. But again, there are things in technology, like you were saying with dark matter. Could that be in there? I don't know. I've seen things where they haven't found that technology yet, and I'm rambling, so sorry.
No, because I watched the thing today, and it really made me realize something too. There was a preacher talking about children nowadays. They believe because they're going to church and they're reading their Bibles. Okay, I read my chapter, right? And then they read the chapter, but then they go out and they're sinning left and right because they're taught, if you read it and you go to church, you're good. But whenever really, the preacher said the hard part is not the reading it and going to church, it's the walking it. Because if you're reading it and you have the knowledge of it and you still go against it, he holds you to a higher, uh, you're going to be in more trouble, because he said preachers are held to a higher, degree than we are when we pass away because of their knowledge. And he said, if you go out and that, hey, I'm this big Christian, but then you go out and you're mean to your mom, you're mean to your dad. It don't matter what you're doing, what you're reading, because if you're not walking it, it doesn't matter. And then he gave the scripture, where people will go to God and they will say, oh Lord, and did we not cast demons out in your name? Well, sure you
Mhm.
did, but I know you not because you did not come to me, and that's going to happen a lot. A lot of these kids are going to be fooled. They're going to be, but I think that's the goal is the confusion, the deception, and then later on Project Bluebeam, and I think they have it all planned out.
And oh, DC Joey, yeah, we were kind of talking about that this afternoon too. Is some of the movies that come through Hollywood, yeah, prepping us and um, or making us a little bit less. Now I can't think of the word I want to use. Um,
Yeah, I was thinking it too. They're trying to sen- desensitize us to it.
yes, thank you. Yeah, at which I mean they do a very good job of it. I don't know how many times I've even seen movies and gone, oh my gosh, this is coming true. I use and this is I use Demolition Man as a huge example whenever I'm talking to my mom and stuff too. And she's like, there we go, Demolition Man again. I'm like, Schwarzenegger didn't become president, but he got into politics. And, there's just so many different things that, yeah, they're desensitizing us. And it's just becoming a point of,
Look at
okay,
Judge Dredd.
yeah,
All the cop shootings now.
yeah,
You know, we don't need to take them to court. We'll just take care of them right here.
yeah. All the zombie movies that are out. I mean, look at Portland right now with all of the drugs and people walking around looking like zombies. And it doesn't affect people. It doesn't, I mean, I'm sure it affects people that are seeing it, but people aren't seeing this stuff for what it really is because they're not there. Yet this is going on all around us, and so many people can just
I
walk
mean,
right by it.
you can look right at it though. I mean, every night you can go on this one guy's show every night, and he proclaims to be this Christian, and all he talks about is Sodom and Gomorrah type activity, and it's like that's all that's on his mind. It's filthy, disgusting, and he's smiling and he starts rocking like he's so excited to talk about it. You can see the possession in his eyes, and whenever you have multi personalities, there's two things wrong with you. One, you have a mental disorder, or two, you're possessed.
Yeah,
I would
and
say he's probably riding the fence, probably a little both. But I mean, you you can look and you can tell. And then if you look at their friends, right? They bring their friends on, and they're just as into it as they are, if not more. I mean, they get so excited over talking about this filth that they're actually both talking over each other. It's like, no, 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 I can up that, I can up that. And I'm like, oh my god, people are really listening to this.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Thank you for that. Who do you love? Or Jenny.
mm,
It's just disgusting, and it's almost like they say that demons have to project what they're going to do before they do it. So is he projecting what he is? Is he saying, "Hey, you're following me, but I'm showing you what I really am"?
yeah. And they don't necessarily have to possess a person to be able to get their point across and use you. Uh, I mean, I I can't even stand listening to a few of those individuals because it makes me physically ill. Um,
And to think that people are in there amening them, you know,
yeah,
uh, it's sick. Uh, I know what the wolf lady would say about it. We've had conversations, but it's just it's so sick, and it's like they get happier and happier the more they talk about it. It's like
mhm.
start getting that rock going on, and I'm like, wow. And people are sitting there watching this, and I'm like, if you stood before God and you were going to hell, and you were like, God, I didn't know. He's going to be like, okay, what more could this dude not have told you to know it was bad, right? He's doing things with vegetables he shouldn't be doing. That's all this guy thinks about, talks about. He dreams about it. He fantasizes about it. I mean, he's just dripping in butter with it. It's not even sweat. And you're sitting there saying that you don't even know what this guy's talking about. I mean, he's sitting there lighting actual cow shit, slinging it around him for protection. If if my God that I served told me to go burn cow shit so something couldn't eat me, I think I wouldn't probably be worshiping that God. But little g gods are good at deception. They're good at fitting their little crystals and their little rocks in there, and their little crystal balls and their little trinkets like we was talking about. And
Mm-hmm.
see, they want you to go back to that calf. That's what they want you to do. Because once you start idolizing that calf, you're slapping the true God right in the face.
And it starts with little things. It pulling you in the wrong direction, little bit at a time. And yeah, by thinking that a purchased cross is going to guarantee your salvation into heaven, or that rocks are going to protect you against evil spirits, or burning cow pie is going to
Right.
keep evil spirits away. It's still that path. There's that trail of treats
Right.
that evil is trying to coerce you into following
Right.
over, and you're not putting your faith in God. And
It's like, whoo, man, your house smells bad, but the doors are still closing by themselves. You know, it just don't make no sense. Or you're out doing a hunt, and all of a sudden it's you're you're walking with the phone, you're recording, and you're like, all right, we're looking for this DDN out here. And then it's like, oh, hold on a second, guys. Yeah, it's just me. You're behind your friend's house because you're still, in the city. I mean, if people are sitting there watching this, it's, I don't know, I find it comical. Sometimes, I'm like, if I'm feeling down or something, at least I always know that there's somebody worse than me on. So, I mean, it does help. Um, we've had a few good laughs over it. We've talked about it, but it's sad of the people that are truly fooled. That's sad,
yeah,
and there's a lot of them.
um, I think one of our friends had posted, actually, I think it was a repost, but it was something along the lines of, it's not the those that speak the lies to be afraid of, it's those that follow blindly to the lies that you should worry about.
Right.
And that's what's scary.
I seen the doctor the other day and took my blood and said I wasn't doing good, and I asked him what I need to do, and he told me to quit eating so much cow poop. I mean, it can't be healthy for you anyway, sitting there breathing that like that. I don't know. Some of that stuff just blows my mind. It's just the stupidity. I don't know. It's sad though to the people that are actually fooled. There is people actually fooled, and it's sad.
Well, and uh, not saying that these things aren't in towns and cities, because they are. They're all over. They're all around us, and we don't always see them or hear them or know that they're there. Thank goodness, because people would be afraid to leave their homes. But at the same time, there's a difference when you've got, again, these individuals worshiping false objects and claiming that they're doing it for under the guise of Christianity and Christ, and it's not. It's not helping anybody.
You know why it smells like that whenever they, you know why it smells like that when they do it, right? It comes from the anal knockies.
Makes sense now.
There you go.
Gotta be
That's why
careful of
they
those
talk
anal
about it all the
nackies.
time.
Yeah.
That's all they talk about. I think they're disgusting. I think they have issues, and I think they're under demonic influence. That's my personal opinion. I believe that it comes from demonic influence because nobody sits in a chair and gets happy over talking about the filth that he talks about.
No.
And then, well, let me pray for you. You know.
Well, yeah. It even bothers me the fact that my daughter's 20 and she follows some of these other channels, and once you start following a certain genre in YouTube or TikTok or whatever, you start to get more and more of that. And I would be completely embarrassed for her or anybody to come across these channels talking in such filth and think that um this is what cryptid investigation or paranormal investigations are even remotely like. It's sick.
I mean, how many of these people? How many of these people? I'm going to talk to Scared Silly in just a second. How many of these people are covering up what they're investigating to protect what they know's there?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Scared Silly. What do I have no idea what I'm talking about? I'll do my best to explain. If not, I'll let Jesse explain. But I mean, misery loves company. And I guess if they know they're going to hell, they're going to take as many with them as they can.
Well, Dana, that is true, but
Well, yeah, that's a given. But I mean, it's just it's just sad. I mean, I don't know. It smells like poop. You know, you probably should not walk in it. I mean, some of the stories that they talk about is my brother wanted a fish, so we're at a mud hole, and we prayed for a fish, and all of a sudden there was a fish in the mud hole, and they wanted another fish. They prayed for another fish, and there's another fish in the mud hole. Then they turned around, and mom is standing back there with a cauldron. I mean, this is stuff you should not be teaching. I don't know. It surprises me. It really does. Jenny, I guess I should say hello to you since you made it to the live tonight. It's good to see you there tonight. Looks like you're holding your head kind of sideways, maybe. Kind of got a Marge Simpson haircut. Does she have the beehive?
don't make fun of her haircut.
No, is
That's
that
an
the
old.
beehive? Is
I
that the
don't
bee?
know. I can't tell.
And then we got let's throw her up there on the front here real quick. There we go. And then we got the wolf lady in here. She's talking about vampires. Wolf lady's done lost it tonight. She's had too much of her water. But no, I don't know. Some of that stuff blows me away. Guys, I wish we would have had a better boots on the ground last week so we'd have more to break down tonight, more to talk about, more to show you. We do still have this photograph here, and I'm probably going to keep it on there for a while. This photograph here, that really blows my mind. Makes me wonder if that's one of them that hit me.
Yeah. How tall
Probably that big black.
do you know how tall that tree was? Where that was exactly?
That limb on the left. Well, that
Uh-huh.
limb on the left that one's standing on, it's probably about 7 foot off the ground.
Oh, okay.
6, 7 foot. So he's probably about what, 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
Now that big black one there in the middle, he's pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty sure he's not the one. I'm pretty sure that's not the one that slapped me. I probably wouldn't remember that one. That'd probably been it.
Yeah.
Hello, Donna. Yeah, you're right, Jenny. That's true. But guys, I don't have any boots on the ground for y'all. Anything else to break down? Jesse, if you have anything you'd like to say before we get out of here, I'm going to put the link in chat one more time just in case Jenny wants to come on and share her story, and or if anybody else wants to come on and share their story, just click on the link and we'll throw you up in here real quick. If not, we're going to start working our way out of here.
Uh, I just want to say thank you for everybody showing up. Um, I'd love to hear a story from somebody in the chat. Um,
Yeah, we're going to have to get our people over stage fright.
yeah. Come on, we're all an abnormal family here.
We'll get Jenny in there one of these nights. We'll harass her. Ellen's got a question.
Okay.
All right, Ellen, we're ready for your question. How about portals and werewolves? When you do that Halloween boots on the ground, you said that y'all will be hiking in several miles. Is your security team going to be able to get to you if they need to? They will be able to get to me, but the way they're going to be able to get to me, I'm not going to go into for security reasons, but we're going to have it all worked out. Uh, Anybody comes in causing trouble, they won't be able to get out without running into them. We've got it all figured out. We're even going to take some boards and put some big nails through it and throw them across the road so they can't get out of there.
Just got to remember to take them out before you go get
Yeah,
run out.
yeah, we'll have to do that. All right, everybody. We appreciate y'all watching. Hopefully next week we'll have more to break down. We didn't have nothing this week to break down, but I will be going boots on the ground here pretty soon. So hopefully we're going to get some more encounters, some more evidence. And until next time, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And we'll see you on the next one. If we don't get 8 before Halloween, we'll do the Halloween one. But thanks for watching, guys.
Good night,